Well, welcome to the Great Lakes Collectors Convention presented by Greenie Sports Cards. I'm Kevan Arnold. I'll be your host for the next half hour as we speak to members of the Cleveland Crunch. I am from ESPN Cleveland, Voice of the Land podcast on the Big Play Network, and most importantly today, the voice of the Cleveland Crunch, and I am joined by co-owners and, of course, the director of marketing. I got Luciano Rashido and Ryan Ruiz with me to speak about the Crunch. Yes, indoor professional soccer is here in Cleveland, and it has been an absolute joy to be a part of the organization since coming back just after COVID hit here in the United States. And of course, hopefully everybody's enjoying the show. Everybody's kind of getting their trades and getting all their cards here today. And we'll thank some of the sponsors as we go. But first, I want to start with you guys. Just what have you guys seen as you guys walked around the show? Just thoughts on what Greenies puts on every single year.
Greenie does an awesome job, him and his team with Jeremy Levine. They just seeing the hobby alive the way it is again is just amazing to me. I mean, I remember collecting as a kid, and now I'm back into it and just negotiating, and my kids are over there negotiating right now. So it's just great to see an awesome hobby back and alive. And my hat's off to Greenie Sports Cards for putting this event on.
Lucci, I mean, I know that you've been kind of walking around a little bit too. Anything catch your eye so far today?
Yeah, the amount of vendors here and sponsors and the community support that, this event is generating. I think that, piggybacking off what Ryan said, Greenie Sports Cards does a great job of bringing the hobby together and creating a space where people can be comfortable and, like-minded.
Well, we're here to talk about the Cleveland Crunch, and of course, this season making it to the championship game, losing in overtime, 10-8 to Amarillo, but just coming off of a championship season too, since the team has been back 5 in the organization's history. Lucci, if you had to tell people that are kind of listening as they walk around here today, and they didn't even know the Crunch were back or were here, what is that one thing you want people to know about the Crunch to get even more people coming out each and every single year?
Yeah, that just create a very family-friendly, fun environment at our games. It's an immersive, fan-engaging experience, and like my favorite saying is, it's a party, not a game. So that's the kind of environment we try to create, and that's the one thing for people to know. That's it. If you come to a Crunch game, you're gonna have fun.
And Ryan, I know that the expectation always is championships, and that is the culture you guys wanted to bring back to this town, and it's something you guys have absolutely established and lived upon every single year. Talk about what that mindset was for you to join this organization, what drew you back into and helping out now, and why that is so important for you guys to continue that legacy.
Well, it's so important for me because, it's what I grew up with. It's what I grew up with at the Richfield Coliseum. It's what I grew up with at the Convocation Center with my father. Trying to pass that along to my daughter, who's into soccer, and have that connection with soccer. But the Crunch is a lot to me, and we work our tails off, and we do everything in our power to put on a great show, great entertainment, and for the value for a professional Cleveland sports team, you cannot beat Crunch Soccer. And we win. We do win. We've lost 3 games in the last 5 seasons. So I think having that intimate atmosphere and having that family-type atmosphere that we have with the organization and the fans, I think it's just something that we're going to continue to grow and continue to build, and we've got some things planned over the next 2 seasons here. So.
Yeah, the Crunch definitely put on a show, as Greenie Sports Cards does here today with the Great Lakes Collectors Convention here at the Independence Fieldhouse, of course, supported by Big Blue Rock, Odyssey, Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan, Big Play, ESPN Cleveland, the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, Selby is Godcast, and Here We Go Brownies podcast. I'm Kevan Arnold, joined by the co-owners of the Cleveland Crunch as we kind of continue our season review and just talking up one of the other professional teams here in town. Browns making news today. Cavs winning up 3-0 against Miami. Guards were up the last time I checked. Winning organizations is what Cleveland is known for, and we definitely want to shed light on another one here with the Cleveland Crunch. Lucci, talk about this season and coming off of a championship, just the depth between young and veteran players that you had this year, and what you guys look for in a player to really join this organization.
Yeah, so we are very fortunate to have a very deep roster of very talented players, and it's a good mixture of guys that are veterans and younger. And when we look to bring a guy in, we're just looking to see what holes we need to fill, what gaps, where in the rosters maybe quote unquote a weakness that we could try to fix. And on the other hand, if a guy comes in like a younger player at a tryout or just coming in on a trial at training and they're very good and they're meshing well with the team, then we try to see how we can get them on the roster. So we're very fortunate to have tons of guys want to come out and join the team every year, and guys that are already on the team coming back every season. So, and it has created a great dynamic between all of them, and it's attributed to our winning ways for sure.
Ryan, let's talk about a few of these players. I know we can't get to them all, which is a shame, but because everyone has an impact on this roster. But let's start with those veteran players and the MVP for his second straight year, Admir Slivovic, a guy I had the opportunity to play with in high school and has just continued to thrive in his career. Him and Mikey Derizic kind of being that next dynamic duo in the history of the Cleveland Crunch. What have those two meant since the team has returned?
It's meant a lot. I mean, they are the backbone of the offense for our roster. And talking about roster and talking about how this roster is put together and tryouts and stuff, one of my favorite things to say is iron sharpens iron. And that's what we do with our roster build. And Lucci does a great job. Coach Antonio Manfoot does a great job. I'm always scouting when we have our open tryouts and writing down notes. So we all work together. But iron sharpens iron. And Mikey and Admir are two very special players that had phenomenal seasons. And Admir picked up another MVP. The thing about Admir this year is I think he missed 6 games.
Yeah.
And if he missed 6 games and still scored 44 total points, imagine what he could have done with the other 6 games. So Admir and Mikey mean everything to us, and iron sharpens iron with our roster.
Lucci, I'll go back to you because there's also in that starting lineup, there's also a triangle in the back that has been very important with your goalkeeper Mario Musa, Dave Jordan, the captain, and Bobby Chanchar, who also went through an injury, was able to come back this year. But some of those other OGs, you could say, of this new iteration of the Cleveland Crunch, just what they have meant from a leadership standpoint, helping some of these younger players. What have you seen from those three that have really helped grow this organization?
Yeah, so obviously Dave is our captain. He's been our captain. He's a true leader of men, and he's able to kind of get these guys, in the direction that they need to go always. He's always there. He's always showing up and giving it his all and setting a good example. And then you have guys like Musa, who's been in the league. They played tons of professional indoor soccer outside of Cleveland. To bring him in at the start of the new iteration of the Crunch, he was able to kind of bring some guidance in what he saw in previous organizations. And then you have Bobby, who's Mr. Consistency. He's always there. He's always playing hard defense. He is another leader in our back line and just in the team in general. So those three are very much a part of the reason why we've been so successful and have won 2 championships. And, it's just grateful to have guys like that.
Let me stick with you, Luch, here on a couple of the younger players that in the next couple years, not just rookies, but Omar Najjar and Aiden Bozak, 2 of the players that, and they're not the only 2, but great examples of guys that have grown very quickly in their careers and really taken to what the Crunch want to do. Omar Najjar playing defense but scoring a lot more this year. Yeah. Bozak just controlling things in that midfield in the center of the park, willing to hustle back and forth up and down the pitch. Those 2, I mean, their growth has to be something that a lot of people should take note of, correct?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, those guys are amazing players. They're going to be the core of our roster, going forward for many years to come. And I think they're like seasoned vets already with their how they play, just their mindset, how they approach the game. And that goes back to learning from those guys like Admir, Mikey, DJ, Bobby, and whatnot. But guys like Aiden and Omar they've played a lot of games for us, a lot of minutes. They rarely miss. They're always showing up. So they are very much part of the backbone of the team for sure.
As we continue here up on the stage at Greeny Sports Cards Great Lakes Collectors Convention at the Independence Fieldhouse, talking Cleveland Crunch Soccer. I'm Kevan Arnold, joined by Luciano Rashido, Ryan Ruiz. And Ryan, while we can't get to everybody, who are names that we haven't mentioned right now and you don't have to just stick to one, a few names that people may not know yet but are going to know very, very soon with this organization?
Awesome question. I mean, that guys that we're not mentioning, you guys did mention Omar Najjar, but my hat is off to Gabriel Piwu. Piwu has been somebody that's been with this organization for the last 5 seasons, and he put in the work, bought into Coach Antonio's system, and went out and had himself an all-league year and was a first-team all-league. So even though he's not a rookie or first-year player, the guy worked his butt off, and he deserves his flowers. He deserves everything that he has coming to him. A guy that we're really excited about, very raw in talent, is Diego Pinto. Diego Pinto has phenomenal speed and power. Just needs to polish off some of the indoor soccer game, and I don't think he's ever really played indoor. He's been an outdoor player, and he is raw, but once it all comes together, and we saw flashes of it during the season, I think Pinto's going to be one of those names that we'll talk about.
And that can be a difficult transition, too. So to have someone that has that kind of raw talent switching from the outdoor game to the original indoor game, you guys know as best as anybody, these indoor facilities have now gone kind of outdoor style with the indoor game. Like, you're just, instead of throw-ins, it's a kick-in. There's no walls and stuff, but the walls is what we grew up with. How difficult can that be to transition from the outdoor game, Ryan, to the indoor game? And a guy like Diego, like, how have you seen him take to that transition?
I mean, it's everything. You're working in less space now, and you're working on geometry, angles, and Piwu led the league in assists this year, and I would say 70% of them were off of the boards. And when you can play that ball off the boards for an awesome assist, I mean that was a huge majority of Piwu's assists this year. I would be remiss if I did not mention Janis Schmidt too. Janis Schmidt is somebody that came in here. We knew about him. We knew that he was with Cleveland SC. We knew he came over from Germany. We knew that he was with Cleveland State University, and another guy that had very quiet, no questions, put his head down, work, exactly what Cleveland Crunch Soccer is about. And I think he had himself a phenomenal year. I think he had double-digit goals too.
And these are names, like, again, we could go down the entire list of names that had an impact. So as we look at the season, Luch, and again, I know it didn't end the way we all wanted it, but to be able to have playoff indoor soccer again in downtown Cleveland at what used to be the Convocation Center where we grew up going to Crunch games, Force games, now, of course, known as the Wolstein Center on the campus of Cleveland State University. What was that kind of impact on the organization, and how did you see the response from the Northeast Ohio community being able to have that bigger facility and go back to the original home of the Cleveland Crunch this year?
Yeah, it was an amazing feeling. It's what we've been working for since we returned, and I think the response from the fans and the Cleveland community was great. We had over 4,000, almost 5,000 people show up throughout the whole weekend. So it really helped us grow as an organization, get some more notoriety, get some more awareness in the Cleveland area that we are back, and it opened up many doors for us for the seasons ahead. So we're just super excited about that opportunity that we were given, and Cleveland came out and showed out for us.
This is the Cleveland Crunch Roundtable here at the Great Lakes Collectors Convention, presented by Greeny Sports Cards, where passion of sports fans, collectors, sports talk enthusiasts collide. Great cards, great location, and a great show. And it absolutely is a great show as people continue to walk around. I know, Ryan, your kids have been trading. You got your daughter here in front, Riley, who finally took a break from trying to trade and get some good stuff. But you love to see the Cleveland community kind of come out to stuff like this, and they come out to Crunch games all year. Ryan, I mean, the season, first in the league, 11-1. Talk about maybe the difficulty going into the playoffs, playing, especially in the championship. Teams were playing opponents that they hadn't yet seen. Talk about, kind of how those conversations have to go to prepare for that when you haven't had a chance just based on travel and things like that, how far MLIS stretches to be ready for those types of opponents.
I mean, I think we were prepared, and if you think back to the 2020 season, we beat Amarillo in the semifinals in MASL 2.
Yep.
So we were familiar with Amarillo. Obviously, the rosters get turned over every year in the last 5 years, but we were familiar with Amarillo and Dr. Parker's organization that owns Amarillo. We controlled that game all the way through up until the end. Things that happen that we can't control, but going back to your question, we had to not only prepare as an organization for the playoffs, but we also had to prepare as an organization for hosting the playoffs and making sure that nothing was Cleveland Crunch themed, because it was the MLIS playoffs, and we had an awesome time with the women's. And women's soccer is becoming very big in the United States and in this area. And to be able to showcase that women's championship was phenomenal. And it was a great game. And congratulations to the Chicago Mustangs women team, because they went undefeated the entire season and won a championship and won a cup. So, again, all the hard work from painting lines on the field to putting up sponsors, all the hard work that goes into it, the things that nobody sees, just like with this show, I think that's the balance that you have to find when you're talking about how do you prepare for these teams coming in versus how do you just prepare to put on this great show.
Well, and I love that you brought up 2 points there, and I love the conversation that we're having here about the Crunch, and I'm going to hear more from you guys. I just wanted to touch on a couple of those points if I could, because women's soccer is definitely, and women's sports in general, are definitely growing. And to be able to do that, have that championship game, it be that the type of game that it was 8-7, it was back and forth. Chicago Mustangs got all they could handle from Summit City, from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and that was just, if you're a soccer aficionado, like that is a game that you just live to watch as it goes back and forth, the ball movement, all of those types of things. And I think the other thing that you mentioned, Ryan, there, the important thing was we tried to make sure that it wasn't just Cleveland Crunch themed when we hosted everybody, to put a spotlight on the league, not just the team. And I know that for myself, Mark Munch Bishop, Gianluca Di Giacomo, who do the call, Peter Tellup, Jim Wagner, the entire LPV Productions crew is helping do the filming here today too. They have all their equipment here today. We wanted to make sure it was that, like, if we're going to be the championship crew, we want to make sure that we highlight all the teams, and that was so vital. Lucci, what kind of response did you get from the teams that were involved, teams around the league that are itching to get to that point next season, about how all of it came across, the in-arena presentation, but also the live streaming and all that?
Yeah, it was a great response from the participating teams. They were, they all felt very welcomed and very thanked us for our hospitality. And I hope we set an example for how an event like that should be ran and should be put on. And it was great to see the response that we got from the teams that came in and traveled here to play in venue like the Wolstein Center. So the response was awesome.
Of course, our time running a little short here coming up on the stage, but this is the Cleveland Crunch Roundtable here at the Great Lakes Collectors Convention presented by Greeny Sports Cards. Want to thank, of course, LPV Productions, SGC, Lawley, TNT Sports Cards, Gemini Sports Cards, Kent Sportswear, Fair Painters, The Hobby, Ohio, Gibby's Collectibles, and the team right here, the Cleveland Crunch, for all the connection. And these things don't happen without partners. Cleveland Crunch Soccer doesn't happen without the great partners that we have. Not to, review the way that the season ended. What I know that game did, the championship game did, was just light a fire more under you guys, under the players on this team. Probably some people that have tried out before want to try to get a part of this organization, feel like they can help take things over the top. Let's look forward now. And Ryan, moving into the 2025, 2026 season, what are some things maybe you can hint at that people can expect bigger and better things in the new season?
I mean, without giving too much away, I think it's we are not a stagnant organization. We are always trying to keep it fresh, whether it be a uniform change or switching up a little bit or a venue change or whatever, or some sort of giveaway. We are always trying to do what Lucci said was, it's a party, not a game. And we just, every year, we come up with ideas that we want to keep it fresh and keep the fan base interested. And I think it also helps when you win. So without giving too much away, obviously, Lucci sort of mentioned it, but we are working on something where we could play somewhere familiar.
And Luch, I mean, I know for you, it has been an absolute honor for you and your family to bring this team back, and you guys continue to grow things every single year. What are you looking forward to most? Like, what is that thing that, while we're still a little ways away from that season getting going, pretty much a lot of ways away from getting that season going, what is that one thing that's, kind of in your brain, at the forefront of your mind, that you just can't get out, that you are looking so forward to being able to try to put into motion, execute going forward?
I think, just capitalizing on the opportunities that have presented themselves to us since the finals. Just getting more sponsors, hopefully getting into a bigger venue, and just things that we're going to be working on hard this offseason to try to make happen for next year.
And last thing for both you guys can both touch on this. The craziest thing, and I know there's probably people here that are listening to us, and they didn't know that Cleveland Crunch was back. I get tweets all the time when I'm saying like, hey, like, tune into the broadcast here if you can't make it out to the game, or buy tickets. I have people, come up to me when I'm wearing Crunch stuff, like, oh, I didn't know the Crunch were back. I didn't know we had that. If you had to leave with one message today for each of you to get more people to know about the Crunch, what would that be? We'll start with Ryan and then kind of work our way back to Luch here.
If you want fun family entertainment at an awesome value, and you want to see a lot of goals scored, and you've never been to an indoor soccer game, but you have been to an indoor hockey game, or you've been to a hockey game, indoor soccer is a lot like hockey, just without the ice. It's high energy, people flying all over, getting knocked into the boards. Cleveland Crunch averaged 14 goals a game this year, so you're going to see goals. Our product that we put out on the field, we are very proud of, and we do everything in our power to bring that entertainment value to you.
Luch, for you?
Yeah, just pretty similar to what Ryan said, just that what you're going to get when you come to a game. It's going to be a great experience. It's going to be fun. It's going to be engaging. You're going to see a good product on the field. And I just want the Cleveland community to know that we need them just as much as, they might need us. And I think just building awareness around indoor soccer as a sport in general, I think that's what we're here to do. And hopefully, as we continue to grow, that continues to grow as well.
What I know, and I've done this many times with you guys just through texts or conversations, but I want to do it more publicly. I want to sincerely thank you guys, your family, Lucci, everyone involved with the organization for bringing this back, for putting awareness on the sport of soccer. You guys know how passionate I am to try to grow this sport, continue its growth here, not just here in Northeast Ohio, not just in the state, but in the whole United States of America. Like, that is where my passion absolutely lies. While I love all the teams here, and I have my favorite, what people consider top sports in America, soccer has always been that number one love, and I thank you guys for helping bring this back, continue to the tradition, and also allowing me to be a part of this organization, because it is one of the biggest honors of my life to be able to have some sort of role with the Cleveland Crunch, when I never thought that that would ever happen when I was a kid watching those games at Cleveland State.
You're awesome, Kevin. I mean, your commentary is spot on. We have the best production in the league for sure. Your insight, so we appreciate you just as much as you appreciate us. And the fact that you got to call a Cleveland Crunch playoff game at the Wolstein Center, that really hits hard with me, because it's something that we're very proud of. One last thing I just wanted to mention, Crunch season doesn't just stop after April.
Right.
You know, we are out in the community. We host camps. If you are looking for a nice summer camp to send your kids to for a soccer clinic, they're available. Visit theclevelandcrunch.com, and we're going to be having the whole schedule out here soon. It's very important to give back to the youth. We started the Cleveland Crunch Foundation, which is a big part of our camps, you know, trying to give back to the kids that are less fortunate. So Cleveland Crunch soccer camps is something I remember when I was a kid, and I know Lucci does too, things that I were a part of. And that's just a great experience to be able to kick the ball around and learn some skills with a professional athlete. I mean, what more could you ask for as a little kid? So Cleveland Crunch youth soccer camps are going to be soon to you guys.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, that Cleveland Crunch season never really ends, because there is, especially on the community impact side, because you guys do a great job of impacting the community. I know the players just love it when the kids start spraying onto the field after matches and they're signing autographs and things like that. For a team that they grew up watching, now they're the ones signing the autographs for the youth. Well, I want to thank you, Ryan Ruiz, Luciano Rashido, for joining me here for this conversation. Love to spread the word about the Crunch and soccer any chance that we get. And we want to thank the people here with Greeny Sports Cards here at the Great Lakes Collectors Convention for being a great partner, for being just a great advocate for what this team does and what Cleveland sports is all about, and putting on great shows like we have here at the Independence Fieldhouse. And of course, this Cleveland Crunch Roundtable up on the Card Show Live Theater is powered by Collectibles on SI. We thank them as well. Thank everyone that's tuned in, and continue to have a great time here at the Sports Card Show. I'm Kevan Arnold for Luciano Rashido and Ryan Ruiz. Check out theclevelandcrunch.com for all the details throughout the year, and we thank you all for tuning in. Have a great night, everybody.
Thanks, Kevin.